Hello, how's it going? Thea here. I just wanted to share my experience about becoming a VIPKid teacher. So I have been with VIPKids now for 70 days. So I started last November. So it was really difficult to get hired. I had to do the mock class like 5 times. I kept just not, I don't know if the people that I got just didn't like me, but it was just, it felt really stupid. Like they wanted it very structured. They wanted it very like, you use the props, you use the exact TPR that they want you to learn. But once you get past that and you actually teach a class, the classes are nothing like the mock class. So it's way more fun when you're actually teaching a kiddo. When you're pretending to teach a kiddo, it's really awkward and you don't know what to say. So if you're thinking about becoming a VIPKid teacher, I just wanted to run down basically what it costs me to become a VIPKid teacher and then how much money I've subsequently made. So you have to keep in mind with VIPKids, the teachers book you, or the students book you. So the parents choose out of, the 6,000 teachers or 10,000 teachers or however many VIPKid teachers there are, they pick out of this huge allotment. So they see, you go into VIPKids once you become a teacher, and you open up slots. So you open up time slots of when you can teach. And so it's up to the parents to book you. So the first week that I started, I was really nervous and I opened up like every other half an hour. So I had half an hour break between each class because each class is only 25 minutes. So I opened up half an hour between each one. I got no bookings for like the first 2 weeks. And I attended a bunch of workshops. And I tried to work on getting certifications because you can, once you're on the platform, once you become a teacher, once you get through all the BS of the mock class and you get hired and you sign your contract, you get access to all kinds of stuff. So during your mock class, you'll be decided which curriculum you'll be teaching. So I started with level 2 and level 3. So level 1 is like the really young kiddos. The youngest kid I've had in level 2 was 3.5, which was crazy, but that kid was really smart. And then the oldest kid I had in level 3 was like 12, I think, so far. So, and I've only taught 85 classes at this point, so bear that in mind. I don't have a ton of experience. So depending on like what kind of age range you want, they do recommend, like, if you want a more full booked schedule, to just get as many certifications as you can, because you can get level 1, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, so you can like go much more advanced, and they have all that available for you to do on the platform. It just takes some time to like go through it. I only am certified in level 2 and level 3. I've been pretty booked. So the first week I had no bookings, second week no bookings, the third week I had 1 booking, the following, my 4th week I had 1 booking, and then the next week I had 3 or 4 scattered throughout the week, which was good because it kind of got my feet wet for it. And then the week of Christmas I just taught a ton of classes, and now I'm doing pretty much every day. I try to take 1 or 2 days off depending how I'm feeling. Like one week I just took 1 whole week off because I was like I took like 5 days off because I wasn't feeling it. But I usually open up the peak hours. So you're more likely to get booked if you book in basically 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Beijing time. So for me, I'm Mountain Standard Time, so for me that's 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. which is a little bit rough. Because I usually end up going to sleep, teaching, and then going back to sleep, which can be a little bit rough. But I wanted to go through kind of everything. So I spent a little bit of money at a dollar store buying some props. Like I bought trophies, but I also didn't really have a lot of props to begin with because I'm not a brick and mortar teacher. They always say that. They always talk about that on that. I would recommend if you're starting on the VIPKid journey, first of all, use my code and I'll help you. I'll send you all my digital props. I'll help you through the process, because getting hired initially is like very awful. But you can make most of your props. You don't have to think about, like, I made all of these. You don't have to think about spending a bunch of money. I also think it's fun sometimes to use like things I already have, like seashells. I have a bunch of seashells. I'm a weird person and I already have this kind of stuff. But the main prop you really need, the only thing that I would recommend buying if you don't have it, is a whiteboard. Now you can use a plain frame with a white background, like you can just get a dollar store frame with the white and just wipe off the, but I use this constantly. If I'm asking a kid a question, they can't remember a word, I can write out the word for them. We can play games on it, I can draw, but I use my whiteboard a lot. Especially, you really want the kids to use full sentences, so sometimes to get them to use full sentences, it's easier to write it out or to count on your hand. So I spent probably about $100 or so on props. I went a little bit overboard. I bought some finger puppets. I bought a t-shirt that's I bought a VIPKid t-shirt. I'm wearing one of my Good Fortune box t-shirts with my name on it. It's the year of the ox. It's the Chinese New Year right now, so the kids are really excited about it. I bought a dino. It would be helpful to have a Meg and a Mike, but you can cut out or print out a Meg and a Mike and just print it out. There's a lot of free online props that you can just cut out and print. I just I need to buy ink for my printer, so I don't really use that, but I use dino a lot. I use dino when we sing. I use dino when it's like, I put dino on my head. So it's really fun to do that kind of stuff with the kiddos. I like all my stuffed animals. This came with my ox shirt from my Good Fortune box, but he's cute, he's fun. Sometimes I'll do, it's nice to have a boy and a girl. So I just have all these toys ready just in case. It really depends on the kiddos. Some kiddos really react well with the stuffed animals and they like to play with that. Other kids will act way too cool for school and they don't care at all. Also, whatever you just have, like we had the lesson on senses today, so the lemon came out. Mostly your goal, the class is only 25 minutes long, you just teach them what's on the PowerPoint, and you're not really teaching them, they're kind of reviewing it. So it's more to hear them talk and for you to hear pronunciation of the word correctly. So it's not hard. Like, it's not rocket science. It's really easy job. So when you start off, you sign your contract, you agree on your pay. It's usually, so you make $7 a class. So there's incentives. So if you finish a class on time, so you spend the full 25 minutes, you get another 80 cents. And once you've taught 20 classes, your pay increases a little. And then at 40 classes, your pay increases a little bit. So by the end of it, like once you've taught over 160 classes for the month or whatever it is, you can make a lot more money. So this past month, you know, I'm working at very part-time, not very many hours at all, a couple hours in the morning. Maybe like 2 classes a day, I guess, would be, because I've taught about 85 classes. So my first paycheck was $250. And then my second paycheck was $470, and I'm just starting my 3rd month. But now that I've gotten over the threshold of 80 classes, my whole pay has gone up. So I'm getting an extra 20 cents or something per class. So they really, really gamify it. You can earn tokens that you can buy Amazon gift cards for. This job doesn't pay a tremendous amount, but for $8 for 25 minutes, you can do it literally at home. And most of the time I just giggle with the kiddos and have a good time. There are some days where getting up really early doesn't feel worth it, or the kids are kind of bratty or whatever. But if you're needing a part-time gig that's relatively easy and kind of low stress, like you can't really mess it up. I mean, they're just kids. The kids are super overworked, right? Like you're teaching them at the end of their day after they've done a bunch of stuff, so they're tired. But it's really, really easy, and I would definitely recommend it. So if you're thinking about doing it, it's a really easy job. So the only prerequisite you need is you need some teaching experience. I don't have teaching experience, so I used my coaching experience, which they counted that. So I've taught group fitness classes, so they counted that as experience. I know that they did have a big hiring rush, so right now they're looking mostly for people with more education backgrounds, and you just need a bachelor's degree, and those are like all your qualifications. You have to pass the mock, which takes forever. So it took me, I got an online TEFL certification, which I found online TEFL certifications for way cheaper, for like 30 bucks on Groupon, but the one I got was $200. It was through, I'll link it all below. I thought it was worth it because I didn't know anything about teaching, so having that, so it took me about a month to get hired with VIPKids, and I probably spent about $150 in total on, you know, I bought a new headset. I would really recommend getting a headset. It makes it way easier. I would also recommend getting a dyno or something like that. I actually, for most of my props, use my iPad. And you can actually just use your phone and hold it up. So I'll just hold it up to the kids, so you can see, like, sorry, let me scroll back on this. So you can see, like, okay, this was visiting Britain. So there's a lot of like travel in the, it's really cute. So there's a lot of like travel. So like Meg and Mike are the little characters, and they'll like go to places, but that's more like level 1 stuff. So they kind of get a lay of the land when they're younger. Like, it's a ship. Who buys? You know, like, so what does she buy? So a lot of it is literally just, you're smiling, you're energetic, you're moving around, you're using your hands to talk, you're trying to slow down and enunciate for the kiddos. So like, do you like pizza? It's not super hard. So how a class will usually go is, first I will introduce myself. So I'll hold up one of my signs and I'll be like, hello, my name is Teacher Thea. What is your name? And they're like, well, my name is. And then I try to use their name a lot in the class. Sometimes they'll have weird names and they'll be really hard to pronounce, and I just really try to get them to say it to me several times at the beginning so that I can really hear it. And then you just ask them, you know, how old are you? What did you do today? How are you today? Right? And so most of the kids will be like, I am happy, or I am fine. These are usually the answers you get. Most of the kids that I've taught have been about between 5 and 8 years old, but again, I'm only level 2 and level 3. I haven't certified in more, but usually if I open any time slots in those peak hours, they're going to get filled. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been opening 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. and they've just been getting full. Like, I have weird breaks in between, which is how I'm filming this in the middle. I have one more class. But that's usually, I get pretty booked solid. And they recommend making like a really good intro video and taking a good picture. I'll put my pictures so you guys can see what I have, what I use. So anyway, so you would do the introduction. Usually the first slide is like a reward system, and I haven't really figured out rewards because some kids like really like rewards and other kids are like, teacher, I'm too cool for this. I don't care. So one of the big rewards I use is I'm like, oh, you get a red bear. Good job. You get a blue bear. Good job. Right? And I really like the trophies. They're really good because they're good for any age or anything. And then in the class, you have the ability to give kids stars. And I always give kids 5 stars. So 5 minutes in, they get a star. 10 minutes in, they get a star. 15 minutes in, they get a star. 20 minutes in, they get a star. This is just to keep the pace of the class, to try to prolong it, because the biggest challenge as a new teacher is finding that balance of pacing a class, because most people are going to go way too fast. I do see people that get really anxious and they're like, you know, I used the whole 30 minutes. The class is 25 minutes long, so don't go over. Don't go over it. Like, pace yourself so that you fill that whole thing. If you're finding yourself having way too much slides left over, spend less time on some of the other stuff. Like, you maybe are doing too many rewards, or you're maybe, because you really want to focus on hitting the learning objectives of the slides, which they just clearly tell you at the so this lesson I'm about to teach, objective. I can talk about the 3 meals of the day, right? And the learning objectives for this one is I can talk about the 3 meals of the day and some of the food I eat every day. I can describe actions using the present progressive tense. I can read high frequency words and the short U. And so it's like, it tells you exactly what you need to be teaching the kiddo. So it's not super crazy. So I will usually try to pace out the lesson. I'm trying to do like about a minute a slide. I try to, if the kid just shoots through the slide, I try to talk about something else on the slide, or I try to talk about a picture from my iPad. Because I really use these, I don't use them every time, but I really use the pictures to, especially if a kid's racing through it, or I need to slow down. If a kid's really struggling to pronunciate something, maybe I will be like, and just break up the word, right? Fast, to try to get them to say the word correctly. These kids are really smart, really smart. So then at the end, I make sure that I've given 5 stars, I say goodbye, I say see you again. You want to have a really good ending, right? Because you're wanting to view each time you meet with a kiddo as a sales opportunity, because their parents can watch the playback of what you taught. So you want to have a good introduction, make the kid feel comfortable, get the kid talking. That's the main goal, is get the kid talking. And then at the end, have a good goodbye, so they feel comfortable, they feel like the class is finished, it doesn't feel rushed. So as long as you get all those little boxes, it's really easy to do. And once you've taught about 10 classes, you'll feel like such an expert and you'll be totally fine with it. The great thing about it is, like, you could do it, you could, you know, teach 2 classes once a month, and, you know, that's an extra little bit of money that you could get. It is incentivized that the more you teach, the more money you make, which is great, right? Like, it makes sense. Like, the more you teach, the better teacher you are, just be having more experience with children. And you'll find your own ways to deal with distracted kiddos. And there's tons of resources on the Facebook groups, and I will link them if you're interested in, if you want to become a VIPKid teacher, I will give you my referral code, and I'll help you through the process of getting signed up, and I will let you know all the best Facebook groups to join. You can't join them until you've started the admissions process or until you become a teacher. Some of they're a little stingy. They don't want just like people thinking about being teachers, because they share really good resources and really good tips and kind of want to keep it in the VIPKid family. I like having an official t-shirt to wear. It makes me feel like I'm at work. It makes me feel like I'm going to work. So I bought a VIPKid shirt from Amazon, but there's some great shirts on Etsy, and I'll link down below some of my favorites. Again, I got this from the Good Fortune cookie box, which I can give you a promo code for. They're fantastic. Once a month they send you props. One month they sent me this hourglass, which I use all the time, and I'm always like, oh, what do you see? Which is really fun. Kids love it. They think it's ridiculous. But I just found random stuff that I already had, like this banana pencil case I use all the time. Your props don't even have to be that fancy. They can be literally cutouts you made, like this lion that I made. I used to go a little prop crazy when I first started. They want you to have about 3 or 4 props per lesson, and that can be anything you want it to be. I really like the iPad for that, because then you can have photos. But the more you teach, you start to see the lessons kind of they're very repetitive. They're very, like, if you start to get regulars, like I've had a couple regulars where I'm like, I am so sick of this lesson, and it's a new lesson, it's like the same old stuff, and it gets a little bit, gets a little boring. So you just got to keep it interesting for the kiddos, because if you're bored, they are probably bored too, because they'll really feed off your energy. And the other thing is, you never know what the kid is going through, so just be really positive and happy and supportive. And it's really hard to mess up this job. The only thing that I don't like about it is the hours. It doesn't pay super great, but it's honestly so easy that, like, it feels very overwhelming at first for such a small amount of money, but once you get into the rhythm, like, I'm on 85 classes, like I'm almost at 100 classes, and I feel so comfortable that I can just roll out of bed and do this. I like to get up and get ready and drink some water. I don't like to drink coffee because I usually go back to sleep after, but you have to kind of find what works for you. I know that some people have found success with other times. I haven't personally yet, and all the booking requests that I get are 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. so that's when I teach. But if you have any questions about VIPKids, feel free to hit me up. If you're thinking about doing it, let me know how I can help you through the process. I super recommend it. It's a really fun, easy job. You get to play with toys, and you get to giggle with kids. And again, the classes are 25 minutes, so you entertain a kid for 25 minutes. Really easy to do. A lot of the times the parents are already they're there with the kids, so it's not like you're even babysitting or anything like that. Sometimes the parents are like learning English with their kiddos. I haven't really had any big behavioral issues. I have had kids scribble at the screen or be really distracted, but there's some really good YouTube videos on what to do for distracted kiddos, from anything from letting them play with whatever it is and incorporating it into the lesson to, you know, just stopping and being like, well, when you're done, we'll resume the lesson. Because the only way you can really rectify really naughty behavior is to not finish the lesson, because the parent has no, if you're finishing the lesson, the parent has no reason to change the kiddo's behavior. So there's lots of ways if you have any issues. The other thing that I would say is be on time. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I always start class 30 seconds before it starts so that the slides will load and the cue will start, and then I always end class after the 25-minute mark. And sometimes I've sat there and waved like this for 30 seconds awkwardly to get to the 25 seconds. I have had to do that. And you can also play tic-tac-toe with the kids. A lot of teachers do that. I feel like if I've played tic-tac-toe, I've failed at my pacing, and we went way too fast. Because usually there's enough. There's about 27 to 29 slides. The last slide is always blank, so you can always skip to the blank slide and play tic-tac-toe, or skip to the blank slide and have them draw. That's always fun. Yeah. I think that's all I have on VIPKids, but you should check it out if you're interested in getting a part-time gig to earn a little bit of extra money. Even if you only did it twice a week for like 4 hours, you know, an extra $200 a month. Be nice, it'd be sweet. Yeah, that's all I've got. Check out all my other stuff. Still reading tarot, still selling stuff on my Etsy, still personal training online. How many part-time jobs can I have? All of them. I hope you have a wonderful day and happy teaching.